takes the place. Super easy.
Yep.
And the thing about these, the way you guys have made these and how thin these are, you really don't have to get in there and grind it completely out. You just have to get most of this out. I've already got the body. It took me, what, 5 minutes to get the body, 5, 8, what, 6, 10, 11 body bolts to pull this up.
Yep.
Put some 4x4s. That's enough working room to get this in here.
And this is formed to go over that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
you
your
don't
body
have
mount
to
goes
get it
right
all
in there.
off, right.
Yeah. Just
Yep.
put it in there, and then if you ever need to anchor anything to it, you're much better off. And then of course, these right here, this is, I mean, you made this better than it would have been stock, because this
Right.
is, there is none.
There's none.
Literally nothing back here.
And if you tag anything,
It's gonna
like
bend.
that side, it bends
Yeah,
it.
so this is what you would need.
Yeah.
So it's, and a lot of times you'll get some people will get tagged, like they'll get hit in traffic or something by the, you've seen that a
On the
bazillion times.
tire. Yeah.
And the tailgate goes in, but then again, then you dent this piece, and that'll salvage a vehicle.
So now we got that.
Pull this out and
Yeah.
beat it out as best you can.
Put that right on there.
Well, you covered. I mean,
Done. Good to go.
there's so much you can do with some of these vehicles when they get beat and bruised. Granted, as you say, it's a lot easier to put this stuff on before you get damaged. But if you're like me and you're up late and you're on Facebook Marketplace and you make that $10,000 last minute decision and you pull yourself in another project, I mean, you guys have everything to make what looks like a bad Jeep.
Well, and
No
it's all the stuff you put on anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's chat about that. We brought basically every single part to cover any potential damage on one of these Jeeps.
Yeah.
So our corner armor starts here and goes all the way to the door. Our rocker guard goes from wheel well to wheel well up to the bottom of the door. We make half doors and we make half door skins.
Yeah.
We have what are called tub panel guards.
Yeah.
They cover from the bottom of the hinge all the way down to the rocker guard.
Go ahead.
So-
Go ahead. Keep going. Yeah, here.
So this is the tub panel guard. Part of that buckling that Tommy was talking about. This goes right here. Okay, butts up to the rocker guard, and everything, literally everything from the windshield down is going to be completely covered. Let's say you find one that's got a kind of mangled windshield. We got a windshield guard that's going to take the rest of that.
There you go.
So I know when I first built my Jeep, I bought it because it was the khaki color. And everyone thought my Jeep was silver. Why? Because everything was aluminum on my Jeep. The front fenders, the flak jackets, the rocker guards, the corner guards, the tailgate plate, the filler plate below that, and then the rear bumper, the front bumper. My Jeep was essentially a silver Jeep because of all the armor. So the only thing that you will see that is factory paint once you have outfitted it completely with our armor is the hood, the cowl, and the top of the tub rail. Everything else is covered or can be covered. So this, again, completely covered. Fits like a glove.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times that you'll be on a canyon and you'll see people with these here. And I've had Jeeps come in where they're tagged right here.
Oh yeah.
And the minute you tag this just a little, you'll see a crack right across the
Yeah.
windshield. So if you were to put these on, now if you take a hard enough whack, you're not going to keep the windshield. But you come over and tag it hard enough, this is not going to fold and take out a windshield.
Yeah.
You're going to lay across and get this. This is so thin. I've cut into these things.
Yeah.
And the newer the Jeeps are, the thinner the metal is.
Yeah.
This stuff will save you a whole lot of money just throwing these on there.
Well, I'll tell you, like to that point. So we were out in Sand Hollow. I think we're on Twister that has that wall that you're riding, and everyone tries to turn out a little too early and it'll pull you off. It was my first time on the trail. I made the mistake. It slipped off. Boom! Windshield right into the wall. Broke my mirror. And with our windshield guards, guess what? It just took a little bit of paint off the windshield guard. Windshield's still intact. My $5,000 in lights were still intact. And guess what? I pushed the mirror back out and drove right out.
Yeah,
So,
it helps distribute the load.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was very happy about that.
Yep.
And then if we want to look, I can kind
Yeah,
of
spin around, Jennings, and look at this. This is really, really damaged. So talk about that, Tom.
So a lot of people would think this is like, oh my God, no way. This is really not that big of a deal. obviously you're gonna take the fender, you're gonna pull the tub filler, filler bezel out. There's a plastic liner you're gonna put in here. You're gonna obviously take your hard top off, but you're gonna wanna beat this. Now you can do relief cuts in here to make it much easier. But again, you're pulling on 18 gauge metal. You make a couple relief cuts, beat it out as best you can, fit this up, beat it out a little more, fit this up. If it's all somewhat rippled and dimpled and all this other stuff, you're not gonna see any of that. I know people get scared of this, but you really shouldn't. You're never gonna see this ever again. You cover it up and it's done. It's like it was never there. I literally have an LJ out there. It's got some quarter panels on it. And if you wouldn't know, but you look in the wheel well and it is just like, it looks like a ball peen went into it. but who cares? Like it truly doesn't matter. You relief cut it, beat it out, make it easier, put it on, and then you're wheeling. I don't understand why people want to start with a $20,000-$30,000 Jeep when they're gonna go out to the Hammers or Sand Hollow or Cruises. They're gonna beat the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take a bigger licking out there with us than it would have ever running down a side street for sure. And I tell people, a lot of people ask me, what's the biggest or the first upgrade? I tell people, and it throws a lot of people off. Rock sliders. Rock sliders. And people say, well, I'm not going to be wheeling. Yeah, but that A-hole in that Civic that cuts into you, that'll take out that whole thing. You really get hit by even a small Civic, because that's light sheet metal, that'll cave that whole thing in. If you put one of these on there, it will bounce off. Yeah. You can charge the guy $1.99 for some Krylon, or I guess it's $10.99 now. Charge him for some Krylon and be on your day. Yep. And you'll be the one driving home versus having your door caved in, your rocker caved in, your floor caved in, all that.
Kelly says, sorry, Andrew, there's only one silver Jeep.
Yeah.
LJ.
Hey, you're absolutely right.
Only one silver LJ.
Shamrock's crying right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Patrick.
Yeah. Any questions so far?
Let's
Other than
see.
snarky comments?
So, Andrew's lost weight.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. Angel says, Tony, next LJ you build, can you name it the Knight LJ? With your fully armored LJs.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would they name that guy that took that bulldozer and he plated the whole thing and ran to town?
Killdozer?
Killdozer.
Yeah,
that would be rad. If anybody's got any Jeep specific questions? G-Wiz?
H.E. Gunter asks, does it matter what model of JL if GenRight is putting it on an EXS rolling chassis?
Depends on drivetrain you want.
Yeah, it depends on the drivetrain. I would say no go on a diesel. We didn't accommodate any of that stuff. We haven't done a 2.0 turbo, but I'm pretty sure it would go. Mm-hmm. And then we've done the 3.6 e-torque, the 3.6, and the 392.
John Koprova asked, what's the best way to bend back the pinch seam for mini boat sides?
That's a good question. So, which...
I like sheet metal pliers for
You
that.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
So-
to get it started before I hit it really hard.
Yeah, so what people need to understand is you can see my fingers are going way up here, right? So the floor doesn't come in until right about here. So this thing actually bends pretty easy.
There you
So,
go.
well, I mean, do you want to do that on this, or do you
Not
want
on
to do
this
it on
one.
that
We
one?
can do it on this one.
Yeah, let's do it on this one.
All right.
Brighton, you're about to get some corners from
Mini
Uncle
both
Tony over
sides,
here.
yeah. There you go. So you can see this one's already got a little bit of damage, and it's actually bent right where I was telling you.
Yeah.
So you got to get way closer.
I'm coming.
So this is where I was telling you the floor is, right? So when you stick your fingers up, that's where it is, way up there. So that's where we're gonna bend it, right along there.
He's here.
We're obviously not going to be able to do the whole thing because the fenders are still on. But let's just get the idea.
Matt McDonough says, thank you, Andrew, for always answering his questions.
Yes, sir. So yeah, what Tommy's doing is what I like to do. I like to just kind of get started. You want to get that crease started so that when you come back with your sledgehammer and your block of wood, you aren't buckling the body in a bunch of different locations.
Yeah, what you absolutely don't want to do is cut this.
Oh yeah, do
This
not
is
cut it.
several layers of material. You just want to bend this back.
Yeah, and if you go through a water crossing and you cut it, you'll know it.
Yeah.
Or a water hose or...
Any day.
Question: if the plan is to go V8 and big axles, is it better to go CJ7 or TJ? I'm mostly wheeling East Coast.
I can answer that on several aspects. So nothing against it. I grew up, I cut my teeth on CJs, but never a CJ. Why? Because the frame rails are two pieces of C-channel chicken crap welded together this way. There's several Jeeps I pulled apart. The minute the engine comes out, the frame rails do this.
Separate.
And I gotta clamp them all back together and stitch the whole frame. They're not easy to put any bracketry on. They're more narrow. You can.
So when you're putting a bigger engine in,
Exactly.
that's tough.
Yep.
Exhaust,
Exhaust.
drive shafts,
Yep.
and Atlas.
Yep.
Absolutely. If you're stuck on the CJ front end, go the YJ. That's a YJ right there with a CJ front clip.
There you go.
So the best thing they did in '87 when they went with a YJ is they went with a 2x4 square tube mandrel bent frame. Much easier to weld things to. It's stronger. It's thicker. The frame rail separation is much wider.
Yeah.
So
Bigger
what-
gas tank.
Bigger gas, yeah. So you can do a
Yep.
bigger gas tank. Yes. Very easy to do a 20 or your guys' gas tank for sure.
And there was even some rust protection built into the frame.
Galvanized frames.
Yeah.
They're just all in all, they're just much better. Like I said, if you're stuck on the CJ front clip, great. They're nostalgic. A YJ tub dimensionally is identical to a CJ7. Even the dash, the mount holes are identical. The emergency brake, the pedal assembly, front clip, the hood, windshield frame, roll bar, door openings, tailgate openings, all that. It takes nothing to make what most people would think is a CJ right onto a YJ. The thing with a TJ is you get coil springs, but how long do you put coil springs on before you rip those out? And then you got to set up.
after your
You
first
got to set
run.
up some coilovers, and you're doing it. So yeah, but yeah, that's. I tell people that all the time. Well, I'm stuck on a CJ.
No, it's a good
Please.
question though. What
Yeah,
they don't
great
realize
question.
is even if you beef up the frame, because I know they sell kits, that narrow is gonna burn you with a V8.
Well, that was back in the day. That's in the '90s. They had those. Remember those big plates on there? But
Yeah.
still, you weren't welding to a good surface to begin with at all. And they always cracked at the firewall. Always cracked at the firewall.
Josh asked, have you ever taken a crashed TJ and turned it into an LJ and got it inspected and registered?
Into an LJ? No, I have not. I have not done that. Which
You see a problem with that?
no, not at all. There's nothing about the VIN that necessarily what's going to tell you a long wheelbase, but they don't decode it that. And do you think the guy that gets paid $30, not that $30 an hour is bad, whatever, but not that what they do at the DMV, they're not going to be like, oh, geez, that looks like that's 10.5 inches longer than.
Yeah, it's a Jeep.
It's
That's all
a
they
Jeep.
care,
That's
yeah.
all they care about. Make
Yeah.
sure you don't do dumb things with the VIN numbers and all that other stuff, and stretch. That's again, small check, VIN verification, brake and light check.
Yeah.
That is it. And all of those things are under $500.
Yeah. So if you're doing that conversion, if you want to do that, don't change the engine stuff. Make sure you can pass them on before
Yes,
you do that.
Definitely do that. Get
Yeah.
it registered,
Yeah.
get it titled, get it in your name, then go ahead and chop it up and do that kind of a thing.
So Thomas Chandler asks, should I source a salvage title JK to save money for an elite build, saving for the full stage 4 eventually?
I would say yes. JKs have a very stout frame. Depending on what you're going to do with the interior, I'd say for that, if you're going to keep a stock interior dash, don't get a burned one. Get one, I would say that got taken out at the front. Say it got hit like that one did.
Yeah.
It took the front axle out. It took the control arms. Because even if it took the control arm mounts off the frame, you're cutting that stuff anyways. You're cutting all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and the frame on the JK is stout enough, so as long as it hit the fender and the tire, you're fine. As long as it didn't take a front frame hit.
Or a rear.
Yeah.
If it did take a rear, as long as it was dead center and not too bad, it'll survive that all day long. Those JKs, and I was just telling Tony, most of the rolling chassis JKs I sell aren't for JKs. They're for Scouts, they're for Jeepsters, they're for Travelwalls because they're such a good, frame to start from.
Right.
They really are.
It really is. It's readily available.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
I got plenty of them.
Well, there was 6.7 million of them made, so there's plenty out there.
6.7 million?
I think that's what it was.
1 point.
Try to speak
1.6
up.
million.
They're having trouble hearing.
It's one
We're having
point.
trouble what?
Hearing. Try to speak up.
Yep.
Summer said for others, maybe tips and tricks for bending aluminum back. Us JL owners can't just pull stuff back as easy.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. The aluminum.
You need to armor up first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When aluminum bends, what you typically can't see is that the metal fibers, it actually breaks apart. It doesn't bend. It actually fractures because it's a non-ferrous metal. It'll break. Like if you took any of this, say you took what 5051 aluminum or something like that, or soft stuff, and you just bent it, you would see on the radius, you would see the metal separating. So unfortunately, I think on a JL you're looking at doors, hood, a couple things that are aluminum. Honestly, with all that work, you can get a JL door shipped to you for under $1,000. I mean, if you're in Southern California, give me a call. I mean, usually you're between $500 to $1,200 for a door. So all that BS work, or go get one from online, carpart.com.
Yeah, or
something.
you know, if this is your trail rig, buy a set of our half doors and beat those up and save your good doors.
Yeah,
You know?
beforehand.
Beforehand, because one trip to the body shop and you're gonna pay for those half doors.
I will say on the JKs, your B pillar, make sure you put your guys' guards right there. Make sure you do that before you go in. You mess that up, it's a wrap from there. Those are very difficult to get right unless you're gonna cut. Granted, a body shop can do it, but
that's not cheap.
that's
Not cheap.
Not cheap, and yeah, it's a pain in the butt
Yeah.
for sure.
Corey Ingram said, I'm seeing JKUs going super cheap on Marketplace right now with engine issues. If you're planning on engine swapping, I'd start there.
Yep.
1,000% right. I'm seeing
11 down, right? They would be.
So here's what you want. The best JK to get for a build, if you want stock interior and you like the newer interior, would be a 2011. A 2011 has the newer dash, but it has the 3.8. It was a 1 year only kind of a thing. It has the older seats up until 13 is when they went to the newer seats, but get an 11. It's got the 3.8 that not a lot of people like, but it has the newer dash you like. If you like either one, get probably a 07, 08, 09. There was a bazillion of those. I'm seeing those things with blown motors for like $8 grand.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
buy those. You're gonna gut all that crap
And if
out
you're
of
gonna
it.
if you're gonna turn it into Terremoto, like who cares, right?
cares, yeah.
You're gonna ditch the dash, the seats,
Yeah.
like all that stuff. So yeah, spend minimum buck and then put all the money into good parts.
But make sure you're getting under those things with magnets. You're truly when you go to look at a vehicle, put some dirty clothes on. Don't come out in Sunday's best. Get under those things. I've had so many people say, "Hey Tommy, I need you to inspect this Jeep. I just bought it." I'm like, dude, did you buy this in church clothes in the middle of the night? Like, did you not look at this thing? And be leeryous of when you go under there and it looks like brand new bed liner. That is a telltale sign that someone's
They're
covering
hiding
something
something.
up.
Yes.
I personally don't clean frame rails or that. Any of my stuff I sell, I don't do what I call the Tijuana shine on the engine compartment. I don't want to see any of that. I want to see what it looks like prior to all that. I want to look at all those things.
Yeah.
But I've been doing this for a bazillion years.
Yeah.
Cole Osmondson asked, will a JL tub fit a JK frame?
No.
No.
But doesn't mean it can't. Doesn't mean you can't make
Yeah,
it.
it's
But
not a direct fit.
it's
not a direct fit.
and quite honestly, what the government has made Jeep do with these vehicles, it's not worth the trouble. It's just not. Get a JK. They're gonna start making some fenders that look like the JL. There's a company in Florida that takes a JL and a Gladiator grill, and they morph it into a JK. So your JK almost looks sort of like that. I love the front clip of a Gladiator JL.
Yeah.
I just like the way the contour. So you can actually, there's people now making parts that you could take your JK
And make it
look very similar to the front clip of a JL.
Yeah. So what we're saying, if that wasn't clear enough, is your JL still has value. Turn around, sell it, get yourself a JK, and build it.
Yep.
If you're really serious about wheeling,
Yeah.
that's the best way to go.
Michael James Aha asked, what frame would best serve my 88 YJ?
The 88 YJ frame.
Yeah, nothing wrong with
I'm
that.
dead
And if
serious.
something's wrong with that frame, call him, and he's got more here.
Yep. And if you wanna, they're really easy to stretch too. You guys make those filler panels to stretch it. That's what Growler was. Growler started as a 87. It's over there.
Yeah,
We can go run and
Andrew,
grab that.
grab that filler panel. The body filler for the stretch. because now our TJ to LJ stretch works on the YJ to LJ. So yeah, here we go. Here's the sheet metal.
Yeah, I've seen these a bazillion times. This is you
Dead
guys
on.
you guys nailed this
Nailed
really
it.
good.
Yeah.
Even this thing right here. I know people are like, well, I can make my own. This maybe, yeah. Try that. That's gonna be difficult. That and what's your time worth?
Right.
Dude, you guys
Right.
don't charge much for
And
these.
then
This
to
makes
get
your
this
life so
piece
much easier.
too, you know, that's
They don't
super
sell this
nice. No,
anymore.
they don't sell that.
You know how many people call me, hey, you got that LJ tub, can you
Right.
cut the rail off of it?
Right.
No, you
No, and
no.
we're gonna start making this in a long
Yeah.
piece. So if somebody destroyed the whole top,
Or
they can
damaged
get
it, yeah, because if this is damaged, your hard top's not going to sit right.
Right.
Your soft top's not going to sit right. There's a lot of things that
And
won't sit right.
by the way, all you need is this much because the corner guard covers everything else.
Yeah. And this is actually more than you need.
It is.
Because the wheel well comes up to right
high.
about there. So
Yeah.
you've given enough material to work with for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Matt McDonough asks, is the stage 1 JK on the road, and when can we see it?
It's not on the road. Unfortunately, Arnold took a spill on his road bike, and he's the one doing that conversion. So we're hoping next week he can be working on it. He's on the mend.
He cracked his helmet in 7 places. I
Wow.
personally counted it. He's lucky to be at work.
Yeah,
That's that young guy stuff.
yeah, it is.
I prefer
And he and I had just talked about how dangerous it was to ride a bicycle on the
in
street.
California,
Yeah.
I won't do it. That's the
yeah.
one. I have a lot of crazy vehicles. A motorcycle is not one of them. I got to have a cage.
Yes.
The tracer system uses the King 2.5 IBP. Does Fox offer an IBP substitute?
Yeah, they sure do.
We have to get them in a custom length, but they do offer an IBP.
Yeah. So don't just order shocks. You got to get them from us. We have the proper valving, all the specs for them that we give to somebody like Fox or King, in that matter, or any of the other shock companies. Like they've got to have the information from us in order to build the
But
shock.
most important is going to be the compressed and extended length between the King and Fox are different. So we order them specifically to match one another so they're interchangeable.
Yeah.
That way there's not a series of brackets for both.
That's right, yeah, because the bump stop is welded in a certain spot. So if that's not in the right spot, then it's going to bump further and you're going to have that front axle or rear axle get into all kinds of stuff you don't want.
I can also tell you firsthand, don't just run out and get a pair of 70-inch Currys and think the Elite does perfect. Ask me how I know. I had to pay a little extra to add them to get made sure, and I still didn't get 10 degrees of caster. So
Yeah.
if you're going to do an Elite, don't just run out and get some 70-inch.
Get them from us.
Yes,
Yes.
because there's definitely some engineering that went in just specifically for the Elite, for sure.
Tom Barger says, so why are you directly competing with EJS? I can't believe you put your event the same week.
Oh, well, there's a lot of reasons. We talked about it before, but I don't necessarily need to get into that right now.
Go to wherever suits you.
Yeah.
There's wheeling everywhere.
There is.
William Lugo says, 2015 JKU Rubicon with Mopar half doors. Do you make front door armor to fix trail damage? I see you make them for TJ.
We don't for the JK. No, we make our own half doors. Then that's my solution is just put ours on, beat
Yeah.
those, and save your nice ones.
Well, he doesn't have nice ones.
Not anymore.
However, I can tell you by the way you guys make yours, if he were to order a front pair or something, it sucks to cut them, but he can cut your doors down and use one of those to repair his door if he must have it.
Oh, yeah, and use it as a skin.
You
Yeah.
can use it as a skin because those doors are hard to come by. No, I won't say they're hard to come by, but they'll hit you in the pocketbook.
I saw you got a set over there.
And they're not for sale. Because those are mine. Those are mine. I have to have some for my
I
Gladiator.
walk by and I'm like, hey, there's a set of
Yeah.
factory half
There's some
doors.
stuff in here that's not for sale. unless you're gonna pay way over market, then I'm happy to sell you some things.
Abel asked, will GenRight make a JLU cage for the JKU?
Okay, so that's coming. We're in the process of revising the JK cage to have some of those JL cage features, and we've got a little bit of inventory left. And then after that's all gone, then the newest cages will have that.
And then we can put that on my Jeep, and then we
There
can
you go.
showcase from there.
There you
That's
go.
what I'm holding off for. Believe it, I got some behind the scenes intel that you were redoing that case. I'm like, hold off.
Yeah, it's subtle stuff.
It
It's
is.
that little,
Yes.
plate in the back.
In the bar behind
in
the
bar,
B pillar.
yeah.
Yep.
So,
Samuel Orr says, I have a JKU. I have a 3.5-inch rock crawler X Factor with Dynatrack axles and 2.5-inch King shocks. What would be the next step you would take?
Stage 1, I would say.
yeah, our stage 1 kit would be the next thing. And keep in mind, the nice part is you'd be able to take off your whole existing lift kit and sell it. And put that money toward ours. So just find somebody who hasn't heard about GenRight, and you sell them your kit, and then you come over and buy the GenRight kit. Yeah.
Mr. Big Money Banks wants you to rev the Jeep.
Right, this one?
This one is gonna be off of that. I cut the exhaust off of it because I'm doing some.
That's the
legal
request.
Exhaust, some exhaust stuff to it.
Yeah.
It'll sound like a clapped out John Deere if I started out
No,
right
we're just
now.
talking about body work today.
Harrium asks, were you guys able to get the anti-rocks on the stage 1 steering?
Not on the front, only in the rear. Yep.
Thomas Chandler said, sounds like I need 2 Jeeps. Jeep JL for overlanding and a JK and Build Elite for wheeling.
There you go.
Yes.
I'm game with that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, the JL, has all those car-like creature comforts, right?
It does. It does.
So,
It does.
which, by the way, are all the things that malfunction when you're beating it off road. So, yeah, the JK is a much better platform for that.
Yeah, if you're really gonna beat on something and you don't want all the electronics giving you issues, 'cause I know you've done the Rubicon, I've heard those issues. Just get a JK. I mean, I love my Gladiator. I can do 80 miles an hour to Sand Hollow, turn the AC on, and let go of the wheel.
Right.
However, I'm not gonna do some big crossings or anything. I'm not doing that.
So
I
your
got a
JK, did you do our dash and stuff, or does it still have a stock dash?
I have a stock dash. I want to keep air conditioning and all that other stuff. I don't want to get 2 race cars.
At least for now.
No, I got plenty of other. If I
This
do
is
race
like
car,
somebody that has 35s and I never want to go any bigger.
No. I can do that, but I know a guy that's got over 100 Jeeps in his inventory. So instead, if I want to do a race car thing,
Then you'll build another one.
I'll just do an LJ,
There you go.
and I'll make it super light. I'll punch it with about 700 horse and 72-inch Curries, and
Yeah, I've seen some engines around here, so
I've got one sitting over there in a C6 Corvette that pushes over 500.
yeah.
Angel says, Tommy, your opinion on factory roll cage and custom?
Roll cage and custom. Nothing will beat a fully fabricated, hands down, from every bend, every piece of material, one of your guys' cages. Nothing will beat that. I do understand not everybody can weld. Not everybody has the pocketbook. There's some ways you can get by that, but I think the best, safest way is to do the cage. However, if you're only going to wear a lap belt, I don't know that a cage is really going to do you much good. Not a lot of people understand that a cage is part of your safety system. It's not just the one and only done. You want to make sure you're belted in properly. There's so many things that go into that it's not just the cage.
Yeah.
But
I always say don't get fooled by this big thick pad.
Yeah.
It's a tiny tube under there, and it's for courtesy as far as I'm concerned.
It's to get by DOT standards.
Yeah.
That's all
and
it is.
Support the windshield.
Yes,
that's
and
it.
that doesn't support very well.
No.
The single
But we
thing.
could go out in the yard and show you
Oh,
plenty
yeah.
that just
Yeah.
fold it over.
Yeah. But if you don't have the money to do it, if you can just get your A pillar to the floor in and then one across the top, that will more than double your chances to come out on top. This thing will fold. The tubing on here is about 120. It's decent sized
Okay,
tubing
on the beat,
but
but all
this-
the weight is here.
Yeah, you're gonna fold it. I have a Rubicon out in the yard that took a tumble. Your B pillar and your C pillar was just fine. The angle to this was here. The guy's brother told me he didn't survive.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, if he would have been belted in, if he would have had some sort of A pillar to B pillar, A to A protection, he might have survived that. But that's there's just a lot of people skip them. They want to go to the Cars and Coffee with LED lights. They want to have, man.
Spending all the money in the wrong place.
The only thing those LEDs are gonna show you is
when you're upside down.
scene of the accident. It's gonna take you right to the scene of the accident.
Tom and Summer both, and me, all say we wheel our JLs just fine.
There you go.
Except for the occasional electrical issues. Which we've all had.
After you put a solid, hard seasons, and I'm not talking I'm talking legit hard, going out and doing jackhammer, do the stuff we do. After a couple seasons, go to all those factory welds and cross members and really get them to look. Tell me what you find.
Then sell it.
Oh, you're gonna have to weld it back together first.
Can you show us the yard?
Oh,
I mean, you could stand on the edge of the door and.
there's. I will do a walk around video. I've got about 115 Jeeps in inventory right now, so tag me, tag him if you guys want to see something
How did
specific.
they get a hold of you? Let's
Facebook, you can go on Google and just put Sergeant Jeep, and Sergeant is SGTJEEP. Just
like
put
your shirt.
yeah,
Just like your shirt.
boom, there you go. Just put that in, I'll come up. If you're on Facebook, it's sgtjeep.ca. If it's Instagram, it's just Sergeant Jeep, and just put that in there.
Is that the best way to get a hold of you? Just message you?
Yeah, or I mean,
Through that.
shoot me a message. My cell phone 661-209-2552. I'm on my phone all the way.
I know. All the time.
People say, "Oh, I want to run my own business, so I have set hours." I'm like, "Ah, you're funny."
Everyone likes your YJ grill collection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Show that off.
Yeah, plenty of them.
Show my big mess.
There's a bunch of them.
Well, it's your gut and everything, right?
Yeah, I
Look
get
at steering columns galore.
I get stuff ripped apart quicker than I can get it labeled.
Yeah.
But I don't rip it apart like these other quote junkyards
And
do.
this was that YJ that has a CJ front clip on it.
Yeah,
Look at it
it's really easy. Most people say, "Oh, a CJ." I'm like, "Nope, YJ."
now. AC compressors, dashboards, like fan
Look,
shrouds.
I have clips. Here's one thing: the JKs. Because of COVID, a lot of the JKs, production stopped on parts. Well, because they can never keep up, you can have something back ordered, and then the next day it'll flash discontinued. The amount of things I'm selling right now that just went absolute discontinued are nuts.
that never came back.
No, never came back. You know the fuel lines you take out of stock tank and they have those plastic fuel lines? The amount of those I sell are crazy.
Wow. Because you touch them and they just break.
And that's another thing to put. And I do recovery kits. I'll build a recovery kit based on the vehicle. If you have a TJ, if I build you a recovery kit, it'll be different than a JK because I'm putting starter relays, fuel pump relays. I'm putting patches to put if one of those hoses break, you can go into limp. There's so many things that can happen.
yeah, wheel
Put some
sensors,
vacuum
all
line
that
and a
stuff.
couple
Yeah.
clamps. Throw that in your recovery bag.
Yeah.
Because that stuff. And it's not, and a lot of people always, well, Jeep makes this. It's not Jeep that's doing this. It's the government telling them they have to do this.
That's right.
I personally know some Jeep engineers that are Jeep corporate engineers or once were. And unfortunately, because of the government regulations, they have to build the vehicles we're building. They could build us a much better vehicle.
Yeah,
But it's just one of those things. The
can't.
government won't
Yeah,
let them.
That's right.
Because the
To
standards
pass
and all
the
this.
mileage requirements and crash tests and all that
And
stuff.
I know the JLs, I specifically was told this, the JLs, that electric fab that's in the middle of the axles that always goes bad,
yeah.
that they should have learned their lessons from the YJs. They put that in there because it was 0.005 on the carbon footprint. That's the only reason that's there.
Wow.
That's not there because it's a better system. Because
It got them better mileage.
you're not turning the whole front end, and it was 0.005 on the carbon footprint score. Every
They
little
need
thing.
every little thing.
Yeah, I mean it's you're mathematicians going in there
Yeah.
punching numbers just to make sure that they gets through. It's unfortunate, but that leaves if it breaks, well then you just found your next weakness and you just go from there and
That's
you
right.
build
Get
it better.
yourself a Curry front end or
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Dynatrack
There's so many
front
things
end.
you can do. Yeah.
Will your cage tie into a CJ7 with a TDK frame?
Throw it on custom.
Yeah. So what happens is we sell an optional cage to frame mount that you cut to size. So yeah, no problem.
Okay, and let's see. What are the best motor mounts for an 03 TJ 4.0?
You found some, right?
So those were block mounts. In the later model 4.0s, the bosses on the block, I don't know if it was they were trying to save weight or it was one of those things where they needed it to absorb and they break off. So if you're talking about the actual block mounts that go on the block, I use on this one, we put a broken block in it. They only use three bosses on the block. Moore's mounts, they use 8. So I had no problem. What people would think is a bad motor, 60,000 miles, put this in there, put those on there.
Just fine.
Honest to God, I really like the stock rubber mounts. Any engine vibrations, they take up some of that. if you put those hard polyurethanes, sometimes they just don't. I want my chassis and the motor, I want it to give a little bit. I know there's people have opinions for it and against it.
Yes.
I personally like to go with those because any type of engine vibes or anything like that, not getting carried through the chassis, it's being absorbed at the engine.
Yeah.
And that's what they're for.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to use, I know there's a company, everybody and their mothers makes
Curry
those.
makes one, Moore makes
Everybody,
one.
Brown Dog makes those. A lot of those companies make them.
Yeah, and if you need a body lift, that they build it.
They build it. Yeah, and that's
so that's handy.
If you're gonna do that, then yes, use those. I just like in this one, I went out to my crate of engine mounts, and I found one with a Chrysler symbol, and I put the original good shape Chrysler ones in there. The ones you get from like AutoZone, those ValueCraft shit
That's
ones,
junk.
don't put those in. I'm not saying those original ones. Then you want to go aftermarket or what have you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
original
like
style is different than original equipment.
OEM. Yes,
Yeah.
1000%. Yeah.
Matt asks, is it hard to tie the JK roll cages into the frame?
Well, the way we designed the JK cage, it's all about protecting the occupants, so we don't actually worry about tying it into the frame. All the points of how the body connects to the frame is good enough, and then it's all about keeping the occupants inside protected with the cage. So we do, if say you want to go racing, that's a different deal. Then we have kits that tie them into, the frame. But most people don't want to do that because it transfers a lot of vibration noise back into the rest of the vehicle. So if it's a regular daily driver, then you're not going to want that. If it's a full-time wheeler and you don't even have a top on, no problem.
You kind of, in some ways, you don't want the frame, personally, and this is my opinion, if one of your cages, I don't want it to my frame. If I do wad it up, I want the body to give a little bit. At that point, it's
over.
you're wiping.
That's
it's
right.
over.
That's right.
I'm caring about me and my occupants.
That's right.
So if that frame and that body do move a little bit, that's energy absorbed and not transferred into the human body or anything like that. When you're racing, yeah, you're tightening, but you have a Hans device, you have harnesses, you have there's so many other things. So those factors, people get pretty into tying it all in. I want something to give more than my body. I want the body. If the body folds over the frame, so be it. I want to get out and walk away with as minimal injuries as possible.
Yeah.
Well, I would say think about the older Jeeps, like your YJ. When you start tying the roll cage into the frame, let's say you tie it into the A pillar, like a lot of people do, and then maybe add one B and C pillar, or just the C pillar. You are making the frame that wants to be dynamic. That frame wants to flex. You are taking all of that flex out of the frame and forcing all that energy in front of the A pillar. That's why the growler cracked in front of the A pillar, and I see that a lot of times with customers that have they're looking for a TDK frame or replacing one from Tommy.
Well, because the frame used to flex all together, and now you focused it in one spot.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, good point. Yeah, the JK frame is much thicker. As a result, they designed it much thicker up here.
Right.
So a little bit different dynamic there, but yeah, same. So
Okay, looks like we're caught up on questions for now.
yeah, and I think back when I used to get that question a lot, I would just have a conversation honestly with people and say, look, this is not a buggy. This is not the kind of thing you're going to roll over a couple times and throw it back on its wheels. It's a Jeep.
Yeah.
Right. Like you just got to understand what you're going for is not to roll it.
Yeah.
That is your goal. And if you do roll it, then you just want to survive.
That's yeah. I see people all the time. Well, if I roll it at speed, then what's going to help me? Are you wearing a Hans device?
Yeah, because you're probably going to break your neck.
Yeah. Like, guys, you want something to give. Let me tell you, the least thing that's going to survive a really hard hit is the body.
Yeah.
You want to protect that at all costs.
Yep. Do we have a price on the stage 1 kit?
I'm still sticking to my $12,000 for the whole stage 1, including the steering. I think we had that in there. Yeah. So we're still good on that price. I was trying to get it so you could order today on the website, but that didn't come through. So maybe I can work on that tomorrow.
All right.
But you can always call in and talk to Andrew, and He'd be happy to take your credit card.
I would.
Tony, for the upgraded JKU cage, will the A pillar be the same as the JLU?
Okay, so the JL, and that's part of what we want to change on the JK cage. The JL B pillar ties into 2 of the body mounts, so we're gonna make that change on the JK cage. On the JK, to have the A pillar come all the way down, you have to run our dash. You can't run the factory dash. So that's why I said like race application. So that's a bit different. The JL, you know, we cut off the tube and we have an insert that goes inside. We work with Jeep engineers on how we attach that. So that's a bit different. And if push came to shove and you wanted to race a JL, I don't even know that we could make that race legal just based on the way it's built right now. So
Continues to, non-continues to.
yeah, I would not recommend it racing your JL. Yeah. What else you got?
Caught up for right now?
Pretty good? Yeah. Let's see, you had other stuff you want to talk about, right?
Like,
Oh, Andrew, it
Yes.
says, Rick Fram says, you're an awesome. You put up with me for a half an hour on the phone the other day.
That's short.
That is short.
That's short for a lot of my customers.
Brigida said ETA on the JT cage. Any pics of it coming soon?
So, okay, if you need a JT cage right now, you can get it from our dealer in Georgia at JK Land, and they're converting our JL cages into JT cages and doing a nice job. So they can do them right now. So if you want one, call them. We're probably still, I'd love to say 6 months off, but it's probably a year.
Tom
based
says,
on-
when can I drop off Addiction for Aftershock?
Oh, geez.
Today?
I don't know. I found a white 392 that I was seriously eyeballing.
We can wrap it.
The only thing I can't figure out is if it has the one-touch top, which I absolutely do not want.
Addiction doesn't.
I know it doesn't.
Another thing about the 2024s, they have power electric seats. Who would want that in a Jeep? I don't understand.
Fine
it.
Cherokee.
Yeah, golly, like
Yeah.
there comes a point when
Yeah.
I like AC, but crying out loud, I
Yeah.
don't want all that weight. I don't
No.
want those electronics.
Well, I still don't mind a roll-down window. I know how to crank the handle.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, for sure. I'm too short to roll the passenger though, so that's what.
Oh, John Miller says, hi, kids.
Hey.
Hey, John.
How are you?
All right. Well, it's 6 o'clock,
It is? Wow,
is.
that went quick.
especially when it took us forever to get going.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks
Sorry,
everybody for
guys.
watching.
Questions, questions. Yeah.
Or was he saying hi to those kids?
Oh, maybe.
Those kids? Yeah.
We have some actual kids.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your dog's name?
Peanut gallery.
That's Pebbles.
Can
yeah.
you show him Pebbles?
Where's Pebbles? Oh, there's Pebbles. Pebbles.
She's a miniature bulldog I rescued.
Spin him around.
The day we got her, we watched Flintstones.
Ah,
So we named her Pebbles.
Pebbles. Oh, here we go. Tommy's gonna pick him up. Yeah.
You put your tongue in your mouth, or is it too big?
Pebbles.
Yeah. She's a good shop dog.
She's a shop dog.
They like your mullet, Brighton.
It's called business in the front
Party in the
and
back.
it's a party in the back.
Where's the boxer? Do you have a boxer?
No, unfortunately, not this last year, but the following year we were at KOH, and that's when I had my engineering job at Northrop, and I worked a lot of hours. Boxers have separation anxiety. She would chew up and stuff. So I got a call. She ate stuff. It got stuck in her intestine and couldn't get it out. So I literally came home from Hammers, parked the motorhome in the driveway, got right in the car, and $2,600 later, I come home to bury dog. So it was
Aw.
unfortunate.
Pebbles is
Sucks.
very cute.
Yeah, I didn't know if I wanted responsibility because this thing right here is plenty enough responsibility. But we needed a dog, so we got a dog.
Little Joe Dirt.
That's Joe Dirte. Get it right.
Dear day.
So he showed his pig at the 4-H thing.
Aw,
and,
cool.
Before we went into the barber, and I said, just picture Joe Dirt trailer park, and white trash. Now have at it. And voila.
That's funny.
All right.
Funny stuff. Okay.
Yeah, right?
Well, thanks everybody. Tommy told you how to get a hold of him if you need any Jeep parts, and I mean anything. He's got absolutely
everything here.
Or if you got
axles, drive shafts.
a tech question, or I get a lot of questions.
He knows his stuff. Yeah.
Kind of a nerd.
He can talk me under the table, so good luck. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back next Wednesday, and I will definitely have an update for you on the Stage 1. Meantime, if you're interested in joining us at some of the events, get over to our event runs and events page on our website and check it out. Otherwise, we'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks again.
Bye.